So when you hear the term Christian, what comes to mind?
My mom.
Your mom? Why is that?
Because she's Christian.
All right. What do you think someone who's a Christian should stand for?
I don't have any particular answer to that, so they can stand for whatever they stand for, but I think everybody ought to be nice to each other, so that's priority number one.
How do you think a Christian should interact with the world?
Again, like the rule number one is don't be a jerk. Do what you need to do to follow what you think is right, as long as you're not stepping on anybody else's toes, poking your nose in other people's business, and making life harder for anybody else.
Do you think Christians have a good reputation or a bad reputation?
Depends on who you ask.
Why do you think they have a reputation? Either way, what's your opinion, and why do you think they have that?
So I don't really have a broad opinion, so I have an opinion of the Christians I know, and it varies by an individual, so I'm not, I avoid making blanket statements, and I avoid thinking in blanket statement terms. So,
that's awesome. Thanks for that. Do you regularly interact with any Christians besides your mom?
I think so, right? So yeah, I mean, I have business clients and acquaintances that are, Christians. It's a big, huge segment of the population in the country, so, I've got to.
Super. Thanks.
Good. All right.
When you hear the term Christian, what comes to mind?
Non-Jewish, non-Catholic, a Baptist person. I don't know it. Yeah,
that's fair.
I don't really have a view on who is a Christian and who is not a Christian. I mean, if you're a Christian, to me, I think you just believe in God, and that's good.
What do you think a person who calls himself a Christian should stand for?
Tolerance of society, having a very open mind, being able to come to terms with a lot of things that maybe normal people can't. You know what I mean? They would have more understanding.
How do you think a Christian should interact with the world?
With an open mind. Again, I think Christians need to, for example, being homeless, I've noticed that people who call themselves Christians, that they don't want to touch a homeless person because they think they're dirty or whatever. What does that really have to matter? I mean, if you have a love of God, you have a love of everybody. And so maybe you should just go and hug that person even though that they might be dirty. I mean, you can go home and wash, but showing them your inner love, and that brings out more of you being a Christian, because you show that, you're representing God, you're representing Jesus.
Do you interact regularly with people who are Christians?
I don't go out there and seek anybody who said, "Oh, are you a Christian?" I just interact. We talk about God, but never do I seek to interact with specifically a Christian. I mean, I just interact with people, and we wind up talking about God and Jesus, and that's about it.
When you hear the term Christian, what comes to mind?
Someone that's should be serving Christ, born again, baptized, and that's what comes to mind, basically.
Okay. How do you think a Christian should interact with the world?
I think Christians need to interact with the world more. God set us out to help the people that are not as fortunate as we are, and I think a lot of Christians have bypassed that. We should, for example, get out and help the homeless more, because there's more and more homeless, and I think the Christians, by and large, a lot of them, they think because they're dirty and homeless that they don't, that they're beneath them.
Why do you think Christians today have the reputation that they have amongst the greater society?
Not all of them, but some of them, they tend to get in their little cliques, and they don't really, they're not reaching out to where God wants them to be. You know, we all get in our favorite friends mode, and and a lot of Christians, they don't expand beyond that. They come to church and they see their friends, and that's it. You know, and God says we're to go out and be servants to everybody in the world, not just other Christians, and not just. So that really needs to be done. We need to go out and preach in our neighborhoods and take our message to the prisoners and the homeless, especially for the prisoners, because they're God's children too. Even though they're incarcerated, Christians need to go down and visit them.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Those were fantastic. Go ahead.
And I think people should be inspired by their dreams. And like I did this I did two 13,000-foot jumps from Lodi on the 13th, and I did that to inspire people to pursue their dreams. And I think as Christians, we need to pursue our dreams, because that's what God has us to be. Some of us are teachers, some of us are preachers, and some of us like me are just meant to inspire others, because I've been told for a long time that I'm an inspiration to other people around me. And I think Christians, we need to inspire each other to step out of the mode and do what we can do for God, because God is just waiting to help us fulfill our dreams and aspirations. And all we have to do is ask Him. And some of us, like me, need a little bit of financial help because I'm on a fixed income. But there are people out there that will help you if you just find the right person. But go to other Christians, but we should all chase our dreams and not worry so much about the economy and the stock market and all of that, because God is going to ultimately take care of that, and He's going to take care of us. We just have to trust in Him, and He will provide. Okay, that's basically it.
That was solid. Thank you.
You're welcome.